Okay, Count Vorlaand. Another Clavian Empire thing going on here. Let me get myself situated here, and we'll just get going here. Whoa! Okay. Rainy Saturday here in Portland. Had the nice weather during the work week, but oh no, we can't have it during the not during this. So we're gonna just get going right here. Let's do it. Count Vorlaand. One of those old families of the Clavian Empire. Old, and when I mean old, I mean old. Ah. Yeah, we're just going to start highlighting this thing. Big old castle here. Kind of want a wild ass castle. Yes. Whoa! Actually, I'm going to get some yellow ochre out here. I don't know why I have that song. Hey, Billy. How you doing? Greetings and salutations. Just pushing out some cadmium red here. And Mars, yellow. There we go. And just a tad bit of red. That we're gonna. Boy. Good. Glad you got over your little crud there and doing better. Good. kind of give some color to these moons. Excuse me. Ooh, that's a long trip. Hey, Merrick. Add a little bit of pizzazz to these. This one's going to be a little bit wider because it's further up in the atmosphere. So it makes the moon's colors, is our atmosphere. Blend this out. No idea why that song's going through my head. None. I haven't watched The King and I in years. Clouds going on here. I have no idea. No idea. Remember, clouds cover the moon because the moon's outside of the atmosphere. Easy one to forget while you're painting. It's true. Sitting there going, Oh. I'll get some more Prussian blue. I said it's Prussian blue because the Prussians are blue. No, shall we dance? Shall we dance? Dun, dun, dun. Oh, I thought it was interesting when they came out with the movie, The King and I, the most recent one with Jodie Foster in it. Thailand refused to allow them to film there because it was not an accurate portrayal of their history, and so I thought that was interesting. Yeah, they said no. Yep. I thought that was interesting. I've been to Thailand. I was in Bangkok and went to one of the palaces there. It was kind of interesting because they had this typewriter in there that was a gift to the king from Abraham Lincoln. We were actually allies with Thailand because they didn't like the British either. And so and it was just kind of interesting. Yeah, Thailand has been an ally of the United States for years. Part of it's just where they sit. But the point is that the typewriter, you think, oh God, just a typewriter? That was a cherished thing because it was a fairly new invention at the time. We're just pizzazzing up the clouds. We got Count Vorlaand. The Vorlaand family. This one's Dimitritive. That's his name. Dimitritive Count Vorlaand. It's actually a whole bunch of names in there, but everybody calls him Dimitri. Now you know. Well, this is when this painting takes place. Victoria, or Olivia Victorianas, is in rule at the time. So this is that time frame. But you're looking at an ancient castle here that dates back a few thousand years. Just a few thousand. Dimitritive. Like I said, I was stationed in Kentucky, Billy, for a while. That would have been 1986. I think I was there from, I'm trying to remember. I think I was there from, I wasn't there that long. I was there for like 3 months, if I remember right, before I went off to Germany. I had a roommate, and him and I actually did some stuff. He also went to Germany, but he was in Nuremberg, where I was up around Frankfurt. Frankfurt's north of Nuremberg. Just in case you're wondering. Oh, sorry. Okay. Now we're going to sketch in some stuff here. Yeah, this should work. Whoa! Couldn't help myself again. Yeah! Oh, couldn't help myself again. Carrying off people, you know. But we're actually going to put some spaceships in here because they'll pop it into this. It's science fiction. You could tell it's Livian era because the engines ended up being moved to the rear. And earlier, the engines were like these out front, you know. But they always put the engines on the on like little what do they call those? So out away so they're easily to be repaired. It was important. Still the magneto drives, plasmas. I'm going to have that song go through my head. I have no idea why it popped in my brain. None. It's a disease. I tell you, it's a disease. Earworm disease. Oh yeah, in Germany, you would think I would have learned German living in Germany, but my German landlord liked to practice his English on me. Herr Kunkel, I've told Merrick about him. Herr Kunkel, Wolfgang Kunkel, but I always called him Herr Kunkel, and always called me Herr Trap. uh, Amazing concert pianist, absolutely amazing. I've told Merrick this 1,000 times, but here I'm practicing for an upcoming concert, and I knock on his door. Herr Kunkel, can I sit with you and watch you play? And he said, "You come right in here, Herr Trap." Oh yeah, love the guy. I so wish I'd been able to keep in contact. I have done a search for him, but to no avail. The problem is when I left Germany, that was before internet, and it was a lot harder to remain in contact with people. Today, heck, if you're on Facebook or you're on, email, if you had their email, it's just, that was the old day and age of when you, called that long distance. That was an expensive phone call, and so you didn't really do that much. I would love to have kept in contact with him. I'd love to see if his career ever, kept going. He was actually quite popular in Germany. You would think I'd be able to find Wolfgang Kunkel concert pianist, and I have never been able to find it. It was sad. He went through a nasty divorce, and his wife took him for everything. So he was a very nice man. His son lived with him. At that time, his son would have been about 10, I think, 10 or so, 10 or 11. It's hard to think that kid's in his 40s. Oh, like I said, time warps by. Little town of Niedervorstadt. There's Nieder and Ober. And it literally roughly translates to near and far. And they go back to Roman time. There had been a Roman fortress nearby, and you could actually make out the remnants of some walls that was the border. Kept those German, people out. It's kind of interesting, those the tribes, and that where I was located was all beautiful farmland, and that was one time very thick forest, very thick. These spaceships in here. Whoa! I couldn't help myself. Sorry. All right. Yep, I'm gonna have that song going in my head. Yeah. I don't see myself getting too much done in the yard. It's raining right now. It's like, crapolas. I got this rubberized mulch I want to dump in around. I have these lovely little features that we have here in Beaverton, artesian springs, and they go all the way back to the Ice Age, and they bubble up here in my yard a little bit. I have one that's consistent that's on one side of the house, and it's kind of muddy over there, and I kind of want to put that. So far, it's never gone into the house, which is great, but it's kind of an interesting feature. I should put a shallow pump because it's continuous, We're getting our spaceships here. These are the P-36-7s. Yeah. Surfaced spacecraft. They could easily go into space, no problem. You could easily come through atmospheres, no problem. And some of the spaceships in the Quavian Empire are way too big to come into the an atmosphere. So you'll have shuttlecraft that go back and forth and stuff like that. It's like when Olivia visits, it's one of those big spaceships, and then they have like a royal shuttlecraft that comes down. Of course, that royal shuttlecraft is quite comfortable, I tell you what. Yeah, it doesn't take very long though to get to the surface, but you can't have no comfort, and you got to ride in style. But oh God, I'm gonna have that song. But you have all these ships. Well, you see in that giant painting of mine, there is some sizable ships can easily make it to the surface, no problem. They have that capability and power. That's the big thing. It's the power. Is to get something that big off the ground, and so the biggest spaceships that come into onto the surface of one of the worlds is probably about the size, a little bit bigger than maybe a destroyer. So big ship, but not huge. You start getting aircraft carrier size, that's getting too big, and so that's now a lesson in that. I can hear my friend Brian says, "No, that's too. They will never make it." Yeah, because escape from the Earth orbit, you have to be doing something like 25,000 miles an hour. Isn't that amazing? You think about that? Whew, man, that's booking. Oh, all right. Yay! But yeah, these are the. Yep. And you see these like fairly common, on any Aquavian world, uh, zipping around. Then you have the ones that are just purely surface. They hover above the surface. They're kind of like your planes today. They have a lot of that, and then they have another set for kind of like your car, but it hovers a little bit. So you have that, and a lot of people have one of those. It's like their private sedan. Whoa! Couldn't help myself. Yeah. I always admire those people who are able to speak several languages. I wish I had. Well, they in the United States they teach it wrong. You should be getting exposed to something like Spanish, like by the first grade. You know. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum. Well, I'm gonna have that song going through my head. Their engines always have like a blue uh, flame or whatever you want to call it, because that's the color of the drives. They when they activate the uh, atmosphere that goes through them or whatever, they activate particles. What they do, and it turns them blue. And they've had this power for, God, it became centuries. With just refinements and improvements. The original ones had a tendency to have a really bad static discharge, so you actually had to get people moved away. It's like when I did the painting Game Changer, that was a big deal. They had to clear out, and that was the biggest ship at the time. Of course, they have much bigger ships today. So just letting you know. Now you're understanding. But oh God, I'm gonna have that song going through my head. Okay, let's back to it here. I'm gonna add more Prussian blue. Get some Prussian blue and carbon black. I'm gonna darken that up a little bit. I knew it. I'll be humming that darn thing at midnight tonight. Oh. Do some cleaning out of caps here so I don't. I'll tell you the price of things. You really don't want to waste anything. It's really important to take that extra time, which I have a tendency not to. Is really make sure those caps are on the paint. You know, seal up the everything. Excuse me. So here we go. Add a little bit of magenta to that. Whoa! Couldn't help myself, sorry. Make sure you can see. I have to look back at the screen to make sure I'm not blocking everything here. I noticed I need to watch one of my videos to see how bad I understand when I walk in front of this. Let me just take a look here. I'm doing my experiments here. Whoa! Oh, I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself. Whoa! Well, I guess not. I was afraid that maybe. Okay, never mind. Add a little more unpronounceable blue. Whoa, there you go. That was quality. So how you doing, Merrick? Well, we had Leighton on one time here. So yay, slowly but surely getting the big transformation over, you know. I don't know. Steady rain coming down, tell you. Tell you what, that's one thing about artwork. Keeps you busy. I tell you, this type of weather can really, especially this time of year, can really get me down. You said you grew up in Kentucky, right, Billy? Kentucky. Oh. Not Louisville, it's Louisville. Sitting down for a second. Whoa. Bumblebee. We're just getting this sky in there. Let's go ahead and start working down there too. And then with this, that. Oh God, I'm gonna have that song go through my head. I wonder if there's a particular brain cell that sucks all that stuff up. Things I want to know. Why? Come back in over. Talking to myself, full conversation going on over here. Don't worry about it. Yeah, it doesn't look like we have the weather this year or not this year, but this week for it. So you got your concert coming up too. The cello, was it? Yeah, a viola, right? Yeah. Ended up staying in last night. Didn't really feel like going out. Hey, sometimes you need a break from that, you know. Audience. No idea. None. Like I said, if a psychiatrist came in the room, I'd be committed. Oh. Got the river here. Moves along here. Oh, there you go. Ancestral home of the Vorlaand family. Jumps out into the Caprician Sea. got Caesar staring us down there. I should paint my ceiling black, shouldn't I? Excuse me. I think I'll be painting edges and putting wires on again. And I gotta, excuse me, gosh, I gotta get pretty serious about finding more venues. I gotta get I need to get the things out there. That in there. Grab something and walk right in front of you here. Whoa! I'm kidding myself. I'm sorry. It's wet out there. I planned on doing a little bit of work in the yard. Well, if it lightens up, I'll do that. Whoa! Couldn't help myself again. All right. Let's hit that castle here. Start getting it pizzazzy. This planet is similar size to Earth. Very close. You may not notice the difference weight-wise. You actually might gain 2 or 3 pounds. That's about it. Just a little bit bigger, but not much. Not enough. Not enough to you would notice. Longer nights. They have longer days. A little bit. Really have any plans for tomorrow, so I should be on at I can do this. Should be on at 11 tomorrow. Oh, there you go. It's kind of weird. I had kind of shocking news today. I used to ride, this was years ago when I rode the Max at this one particular time. Max is our light rail, if you're not familiar with Portland. And I used to always hook up with this one lady friend of mine. You know, we'd sit there and BS all the way into downtown. You know, we had the same work schedule, everything, and kind of lost contact with her for a while. And I saw one of her memory things come up on Facebook, and I was like, oh, I wonder how Joyce is doing. Found out she has passed away at Christmas in 2020. And I was like, gosh, I tell you, that's always kind of a shocker a little bit, because it wasn't like we were real super close, you know. I mean, we would catch a beer with one another every once in a while and things like that. In fact, I had said her a thing about, you know, getting a beer. I had actually invited her to one of my art openings, because every once in a while she'd show up at the art opening, and Yeah, God, that was a shocker. Yeah. Well, I tell you, and the fact that she was gone for so long, that's what got me. I think that's what got me the most. Is I'm like, gosh, she's been gone a year and a half. Didn't even know. Yeah, she didn't live very far from me either. Just had different schedules and things. Life changes and stuff like that. But yeah, that was kind of a little bit of a shocker. Yeah. Now I know why she wasn't getting back to me. Jeez. Okay, let's keep going here. We're gonna start working on that castle. We're gonna have more ships, a lot more stars. Okay, so that's gonna be one thing we're gonna be doing. So let me get a small. Yeah, there we go. That's small enough. That's perfect, actually. Oh God, I'm gonna have that song go through my head. Excuse me. I have no idea what she passed away from. She was uh according to the obituary I saw two different obituaries and they had two different ages for it, but I believe the one that said she was born in 1960 because I knew Joyce was just a little bit older than me, not much, just a little bit. So she would have been about my sister's age. That was a ah. And then I have been gone for so long without me even knowing. It just tells you how you lose contact with people. Sometimes. Yeah. Well, I don't know about you, but anytime somebody passes away, especially when they're like fairly young, like Joyce was, you it just is like a blunt reminder that get on with life. Don't let the little stuff get you down. Don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. It's so easy to do that to ourselves. We just sit there and go, why didn't I? You could always say, what was it? What was that? I was a famous quote from Lucille Ball. And she said, I'd rather regret things that I have done than what I have not done. And I thought that was an interesting quote because that kind of hit home. Get on with it. So I always say, especially to younger people, you'll be surprised how fast your 20s go. And, before you hit your 30s, you're 40. And you're no longer the young up and coming thing. And that's why I try to tell people, get on with it. Get on with life. I knew I'm going to have that song go through my head. Mike's philosophy on life. Yeah, I didn't do a very good job cleaning these brushes. What I might be doing is getting. I'm going to get that brush out. Getting my good old Murphy's oil. It's a floor cleaner. What it is, it's for wooden floors, but it's wonderful for cleaning brushes. And that's one of my tricks I tell people about. Don't spend a bunch of money on an expensive brush cleaner at an art store. Get that Murphy oil soap. That does wonders, and what it does, it restores the oil in the brushes and everything. And even on, like, if you got acrylic or something like that, it breaks it apart and brings it out. So I think I'm going to be spending a little bit of time this weekend cleaning up my my brushes. I've got some stiff brushes in here, and they're kind of, and I like those brushes, and I hate saying it because it was just sheer laziness on my part that I didn't properly scrub them. I remember Mr. Nas, Chuck Nas, who was my art teacher in high school. He was a stickler on that one. You had to clean those brushes good. Well, you think about it, school had a very limited art budget. What's sad is that I wonder, I'd have to look it up if they even still have art classes at all in school anymore. And I think that type of stuff is important. I do. Because it forces your brain to expand. If all you're doing is taking classes for no other reason is to pass tests, that's just not, I have a problem with that. Mike Trapp's philosophy. Oh, I couldn't help myself again. Oh my gosh. Oh. Go across that and come back here and re-add that. Whoa! Hey! Hello out there! Greetings and salutations and all that stuff. Yeah, I took in college. I did a summer session to catch up because I kind of had a disastrous quarter, and I took Shakespeare, and I thought, oh God, this is going to be dry and boring beyond belief. She was the best professor, I think, on the planet. I'd never seen anybody who could bring Shakespeare so to life as her. And she was just magnificent. And I was just like going, whoa, okay, this is interesting. And I was hooked on Shakespeare after I was done. I actually went out and bought a complete works of Shakespeare. Gosh, she was good. A magnificent professor. She just brought it to life, and it was like, she even went into what was going on in Britain, England at the time. When Shakespeare was going, that was Elizabeth I. Yeah, there was one time he had irritated the Queen, and him and his entire play, our actors and everything, was brought into the castle, and they sat in the dark. And this in the castle, and they just sat there for hours, totally in the dark. Nobody was talking to them. And then finally, a person came in. You may go. And what it was a warning. Oh, I can imagine how terrified it would be, because she had the power of life and death over you. When she was telling those stories and stuff like that. But Elizabeth I was a huge supporter of those type of plays and stuff like that, because she said that they needed that, you know. But that was just kind of cool. Yeah, it really depends on the teacher. You're absolutely right, Mary. They're really tall rocks and stuff like that. Palace dates back over 1,000 years. Not a palace, it's really more of a castle, but they kind of made it so it's kind of nice inside. You can have a very comfortable stay there. Especially once they installed central heating. It wasn't by fireplace. That occurred, probably a good 600 years after the initial beginning of the construction of that. So you had a kind of a cold castle there. Not anymore. Just in case you're wondering. I'm gonna have that song through my head. Now it. What I'm doing here is I've got Prussian blue mixed in with magenta. Magenta helps darken it down a little bit. And it mixes. I found out that magenta and Prussian blue is very similar to my unpronounceable purple that I used to always use. So close enough. One more tube of paint I don't have to buy. You know. If I was a real expert at this, I would only have my primary colors and I would know how to mix them perfectly, you know, but I'm not that good. Okay, let's come back in here. Wow, that time is ripping by here. Count Vorlaand. Vorlaand family is well known for their incredible experience with finances, creative finances if necessary. Yeah, something's got to finance these things. It's kind of they don't ask questions, family. Ask question, you may suddenly not exist anymore. The Vorlaand family. All right, back in here with this other brush. There it is. I don't think I want that brush. All right. Hey, Mavis! Yeah. I wonder if I should create like an event. It's not that hard to create an event, and that way it would pop as a reminder. Now that I'm not doing this on Facebook, because Facebook at least it would kind of let you know that you're on, that I'm on. So I don't know. We're still in the learning curve of this thing. I'll tell you that one. I am, at least. I didn't send you a reminder either, Mavis. I am so sorry about that. It just dawned on me too. I am so sorry. Like I said, don't ever take it personally if you don't get a reminder from me. It's just simply because I spaced. It has nothing to do with anybody. I don't want Mavis on here anymore. Never. That's not the case. Trust me. Count Vorlaand. Interesting families. The Vorlaand family, unlike Elizabeth, everybody says Elizabeth instead of like Queen Windsor. Here, they actually usually refer to the last name or the Vorlaand family. The current resident right now, as we're painting here, is Dimitritive. Dimitritive Vorlaand. But the Vorlaand family is an ancient family. They go back way back. So in the empire here, they go back to pre-capabilities of space travel, and they still it's a mystery how in the heck these planets got populated. They don't know. They have theories, but that's about it. But no evidence exactly why. But in time, they started becoming aware of one another, and especially once the space travel became possible. Yeah, especially with, for lack of a better way, warp drives. Well, it was when they came up with the magneto plasma drives that was the big changer. And was suddenly you were capable of traveling considerable distances fairly quickly, very quickly. Just in case you're wondering. I'll have to write this all down. Thank you, Merrick, for writing a portion of the story with your prelude that you did. So everybody said I should sit down and write this out. Yeah, maybe I will. I'm just a lazy butt. Okay. Some clouds here. We'll be working on this. The sky's got a lot more work to do. We're gonna have a lot of stars in the sky too. Step back. Well, on that note, though, I'm going to have to call it good. And so we got the castle here, Count Vorlaand, the two moons. We've got some new small spacecraft here. We might even see some up in the sky up here, but we're going to add a lot more stars the next time we're together on this. And I'll be adding more detail and more detail and more detail to that castle. That castle's like this gothic, scary thing. And have our, like I said, our spaceships. I'll probably add, you'll see towns and stuff like that down on the valley floor there, and more work on the river, obviously. So thank you so much for joining me. Stay healthy, stay safe. We're not completely through this crap yet, so we're getting there. And hope for peace. I tell you, it's scary times. Take care. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Stay happy. Enjoy the rest of your day. All right. Stay creative. Whoa. Take care. Autobus. You betcha. Whoa.